Good evening, ladies, Jennifers, and my lovely NBs. We are here live at Shawshank Stadium for game number 6 of the FBA Finals. My name is Marcus Baylor, and to my right is Ryan Eastman. How are you doing, dude?
Doing excellent. We had a great game number 5, an overtime thriller that saw Vegas survive an elimination game, and now they have to do it on the road if they want to keep their hopes of a championship alive here tonight.
Yeah, that is certainly the case. After really having all the momentum being taken away from them throughout this series, they finally got a little bit of life back into it to extend it for one more game after that crazy overtime game. And you got to really give credit where credit is due to Ivy Robbins and how well she played in game number five.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely dominated. 30 points. Finally, a player on the wild card stepping up and taking command when they were in desperate need of some kind of leadership and production on the floor. But Bangor again on the road nearly took it. So now they're back home in front of their fans, and they have an opportunity here to close out the game number 6 that'll lead them to their second championship trophy.
Yeah, second championship within the 5 years, I believe, since their last championship was 2019. And it's a very good opportunity for them to do this, because even though they weren't able to get it done here, it's always a great feeling to probably win a championship at the home crowd because they are following behind you. But in any case, it's still going to be a tall order, because when you're dealing with a team that's desperate to stay in this, they probably won't go down without a fight.
Yes, and I see the players taking to the court. Let's cut on down live.
That we do, as we go ahead and get things started with the Tide in the white and the Cards in the gold. And Las Vegas will win the winning tip-off here in game number 6.
Yeah, and I want to keep an eye on, again, Robbins, how they're going to adjust after game number 5. If Bangor is going to be a little bit more aggressive on trying to shut her down and prevent her from getting going.
Yeah, that will be interesting how this goes, as Murphy not able to get that first basket down, so Bangor will be trying to see if they can strike first on the offensive side. We're going to see a quick pass over to Oakley, and Oakley going for the mid-ranger, and it is good. Oakley had a little bit of a quiet game in game number 5. He was contained quite well for majority of it. We'll see if that changes here in game number 6 as we go ahead and see Murphy with the rock. Get a good screen from Brandon. Looking to possibly shoot it. Instead, this is over to Doyle, who's wide open for 3, and it's in and out. So far, Bangor doing a good job containing things in the other going, as McDonald Rainbow not getting it down.
Yeah, as I say, Oakley definitely needs to step it up here in terms of production. I mean, he had some moments in game number 5, but definitely earlier in the series he's had more of an impressive showing. Now, he did keep Brandon from being too impactful on the offensive side, at the very least in game 5.
Yeah, that is certainly the case, and honestly, that's pretty much what you really need to do, is try and bring down the young polar bear as much as you can. And he's done a fairly good job throughout this entire series, as Brandon has really not been much of a factor on the offensive side of things, as Doyle will be tying things up 2 apiece.
Yeah, he definitely had one game of good productivity, but since then, it's been mostly a defensive showing for the rookie. Angel, same thing on the other side, has only really shown up one game. Otherwise, has been fairly quiet.
Yeah, but Ashburn's hit with his first points of the game, as Bangor is up 4-2. Right now, it's looking like they're trying to go for a little bit of isolation play, as Baylor comes up for the screen. Got a late open and gets swatted out of bounds with only 2 seconds left of the shot clock.
Well, this is going to be an inbound quick shot. There's no chance to drop any kind of play, but great defense there and absolutely rejecting that ball to the stratosphere.
Yeah, Oakley really showing his stuff, getting the crowd really into it, and that will be the case as Doyle goes for a long 2. No good, but Baylor able to go ahead and clean things up, tying it back up once again.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of, the inbound play. There's not a lot of chance to start boxing out, and Brandon just found an open lane.
Yep, and oh, it looks like Brandon Bailey will get his first personal with a reach in. So there will be no shot, but it will stay on Bangor's end with 15 seconds left.
Yeah, plenty of time to drop a play. And keep an eye on the three-point game. I want to see, as you know, Ash and AMR can definitely make it rain from beyond the arc. Inari not too afraid to get the ball shooting either. Is AMR blocked but fouled on the way up? That's Brandon's second. And we talked about foul trouble earlier in this series, and already the Polar Bear in a crucial game has now got his second. And they're not. Oh, yeah, they are going to sub him out. I thought for a second they were going to keep him in.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much not something you really want to see here in the early goings. As we said before, the front court of Vegas has been very important in keeping them in games, and having Brandon getting fouled, having 2 early fouls already with not even 3 minutes left of the court, with 3 minutes left into the game, it's definitely not boding well for Vegas.
And Bangor now, they have a game plan. They can attack Ivy and try and get her in foul trouble because, St. Martin almost losing it there.
Yeah, after that block shot, but still not a really good effort there for that one, as Bangor still doing very well defensively. And now the Tides looking to probably make some noise here as Oakley has the rock. This is over back to Inari. And now back over to AMR. AMR got the spacing, but gets fouled on the way up, but the shot is missed, so he will go on the line for 2. So a lot of early fouls going on the Vegas side. I believe that was already the 4th team foul within this quarter.
Yeah, they're racking them up quickly, and they have to be a little bit more mindful in terms of how aggressive they're being on defense. Obviously, you don't want to become timid on the defensive end, but you can't be just giving away fouls.
Yeah, not at all, and that's certainly something that they got to really pay attention to. Is now they're up by 4. We'll see if Vegas try to catch things up with Doyle going for 3, and it's good. Oh, nope, it's a long 2. Pause on the line. But Las Vegas do cut the deficit down to a single possession.
Yeah, I'm hoping we see Doyle, step it up here. I've kind of said that a couple times this series, but, he's had moments where it's like, okay, he comes in and hits a big 3 and gives momentum, but then, he disappears into the background a bit then.
Yeah, and right now, Bangor just making sure that there's no avenue within the paint as they continue to go onslaught on the other side, as Ash Net goes for a mid-ranger.
Yeah, even though the deficit's only 4 here, Bangor is really feeling like the stronger team at the moment.
Yeah, 100%, and it's really because of the fact that, Vegas still tries to get into the paint, but gets blocked so many times, as another one gets blocked on that one, and now Ash Van Zant slamming it down. And right now, Bangor is in full control of game number 6.
Yeah, and the crowd is definitely a factor in Vegas. You see Vegas, they have to call timeout. They know they are not doing hot right now, and the momentum is slipping, and they cannot afford to even have a minute of letting Bangor get comfortable in this game, because if Bangor gets comfortable in front of their home crowd, this series is over.
Yeah, that is certainly the case here, and they do need to find a way to calm things down, as Ivy's going to be the one to bring it in. Stan passes it over to Morrison. And right now, Morrison gets a little bit of a screen. Give a deep pass into the paint, but it gets stolen. Trying to pass it down to Ivy in the paint, but that gets stolen as well from Van Zant. So Vegas getting a little bit of a break there.
Very much. I mean, they need to start getting a few more turnovers on top of that just to try to get this gap back down.
Yeah, right now we do see Morrison with the rock. A 3 would be nice from her, but instead she just St. Martin, and he lays it home. So right now, Vegas, even though they are not in total control, they are staying in it at least. As right now, Oakley saying his name a lot as he's done block defensively, but he ends up losing the ball. But they did try to get a shot attempt up there, but it was not going to be any good there, as Vegas looking to try and cut this down to 2, but it's not going to be good there for Morrison.
Yeah, that was a mess there. St. Martin getting the strip, and then Angel was able to clean it up, but blocked on the way up. And a big play. Ooh, and Ivy, another block there. That's 2 now for her.
Yeah, Ivy really kind of showing of why she was a huge factor in game number 5. But again, Vegas not being able to take advantage after another miss within the lane.
Yeah, and again, back to 4, and defense is starting to show up a little bit. I wouldn't be shocked if Bangor starts to kick out to the outside, but no, Oakley gets a great matchup against Morrison and just bullies his way to the post.
Yeah, now Bangor up by 6 once again, 14-8. Yeah, right now. Doyle fighting into the paint, but gets stripped on his way up. And again, great defense there from the Tides, as they just seem to be all over the place. But Van Zant almost losing the ball there, but does recollect it and passes it over to Inari.
And they're giving it to Angel. The shot clock's starting to become a problem, but look, AMR wide open from beyond the arc. Oh, it rattles up, but Angel gets the second chance, and it's good.
Yeah, and now Bangor has a chance to be up by double digits after that basket. And so far, Vegas really at a loss for words as we get a illegal screen there from St. Martin and another unforced turnover. Some very sloppy play in the early goings of this game.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. We talked about all those illegal screens that have been called this series, and they are continuing to find their way into the game.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're a Wildcards fan, that's not something you really want to see here. As AMR got a chance for a long 2, but it's in and out. Ivy with the rebound.
Yeah, letting AMR take shots from all over the floor. He's getting open lanes, and Oakley with the strip, and Inari fast break, 1-on-1. Fights the way through the defense and lays it up and in, and Wildcards already calling their second timeout with 5 minutes left to go in this first quarter.
And yeah, that really goes to show that the Tides are in just total control in this game. And it's just not been pretty, as when Brandon stepped out, it just seemed like everything fell apart in this for this team.
I mean, they were already on the verge of Bangor. You know, it felt like Bangor was the stronger team to start the quarter. But you're right, as soon as Brandon went out, I think maybe the team went to a little bit of a panic mode of, oh God, not again.
Yeah, and now we're seeing both of the second units to be fully coming out. We'll see how things change here. And we get another block attempt, but this time Category will get called for the foul. That'll be his first personal of the game. And so O'Hara will go on the line for 2.
Yeah, Category, she was so big earlier in the series. And, you know, I think Vegas finally did kind of figure out how to slow her down. But you just feel like at any moment she could come out and put double digits off the bench once again.
Yeah, that is certainly the case here, and it's really becoming the fact that the second unit has been very up and down for Vegas throughout this series. Like, some games they've been able to, hold their own, but others they've just been blown out of the water.
Yeah, and, well, there's only been, every game that they've won has been close.
Yeah, for sure.
It has not been a comfortable win yet for them, and it doesn't look like we're going to get one of those tonight either.
No, not at all. As we get a quick block there, as St. Martin's able to go ahead and snatch that from the air. And now Reedy bringing it up. Crowd calling defense pretty loud. And now Helen pass it over to Robbins. Ivy almost loses the ball there as Category is able to strip it from her. And now King has to lose it as well as O'Hara pass it over to Helen. Helen going for the fast break rope with a finger roll. Much needed points there for the Vegas.
Extremely needed. I mean, the fact that they were finally able to put Bangor on the back foot thanks to that turnover and, stop a bit of their run, maybe quiet the crowd even just a little bit here.
Yeah, right now, Category trying to get by Ivy, but Ivy denies it. As St. Martin go ahead and collect things. And right now, Vegas really taking their time here. They pass it over to Ivy. Ivy going for a fadeaway, and it rattles home.
I have a feeling they're going to have to keep Ivy out longer than they had originally planned. They cannot afford to let Vegas fall behind, and right now she is not only the main factor of stopping the Tides getting those second chance opportunities, but she is also getting the buckets scored as well.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of, second opportunity will not go down there for the Tides this time. And right now we are seeing the Tides haven't been scoring for the past 2 minutes, but right now they're doing a very good job on defense to make sure that things don't go hairy, but it will be out of bounds and will go back. It will stay at Vegas's end. But even though they haven't been scoring for a while so far, just the fact that they are still up by 4 is really showing how good their defense is.
Or how much of a struggle Vegas is having on offense. I was going to point that out. Like you said, if you go on a 2.5-minute drought and you still are up by a good margin, it is not necessarily the best look for your team.
No, not at all. But right now we see Smith trying to go up there, but it's no good. But Kataguri able to get the second chance points. And that's also going to be the name of this series in its entirety. The amount of second chance opportunity for the Tides is a lot more than you would like if you're a Wildcards fan.
Oh yeah, and again, great offensive rebounding coming out from the Tides, and Vegas has had moments too. But look at the field goal percentage. It's honestly not that far apart now. Just 2 missed baskets comparatively between the two of them.
Yeah, for sure. And we get a legal screen there from Smith. So the ball, it will be an unforced turnover there, and we'll go to Vegas's end. So Vegas has an opportunity to try and cut this deficit down to 1 possession.
Yeah, and I mean, at least the refs are going to call it on both sides here, because they've certainly been happy to call it on Vegas when they've.
Look at they try to go for an alley-oop attempt, but it ends up not working out, and Dupuy have a chance for the fast breaks opportunity, and we'll get the end one.
They are killing them in these. The amount of fouls they're giving up and how many free throw chances the Bangor is getting here, especially, like I said, making it through the contact.
Yeah, that's certainly a really good effort there from Fullerton, being able to get the basket, even with the amount of contact that was there, and finishing up with the old school 3-point play. And now Bangor is up by 7 as they're getting close to their biggest lead of the game so far.
Yeah, and I mean, Vegas just needs to be a little bit more efficient on their end with scoring, as we finally see Robbins getting a chance to, catch her breath and rest.
Yeah, and right now, not a lot of time left on the shot clock. Have to go for a desperation heave, and it's not going to be good. That's not really you want to see there, but we get a nice block on defense. But again, another second chance opportunity, but this time it's not going to be good as Parks gets the rebound.
Yeah, and Parks was a little aggressive there, causing the shooter to fall to the ground, but no foul called on that contact at least. And another illegal screen, Fenton this time.
Yeah, that's the 3rd illegal screen called so far into this game, and yeah, it looks like that the refs are really gonna have a say in this one, as there have been a lot of foul calls within the first quarter alone.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's going against Vegas here right now, and you're starting to wonder how long can the players avoid getting frustrated, and who's gonna be the first one to snap.
Yeah, that is certainly for sure. It's a very emotional time here in the finals. And right now, Vegas trying to fight for their lives here at St. Martin. Trying to get something in the paint, but draws the foul against Kataguri. As it seemed like that it wasn't really going to go anywhere, but he does draw the contact. First one, though, is not going to be good.
Got to hit those in the finals, especially when you're down, and at least they'll make the second.
Yep, so they do bring it down back to 6. But even though Bangor has not been able to extend this cushion, Vegas really has to tighten things up, or else this can blow out of proportion very quickly if they're not careful. This will be the final possession, as we only got 1 second between the shot clock and the game clock for this quarter, as Smith going for a long 3. And it's going to be in and out, and that'll do it. So, after the end of the first quarter, the Tide are in control 23-17.
Yeah, that is a rough first quarter for the wild cards. Honestly, looking at it, after their win in the previous game, I'd hope they'd come in with a little bit more momentum and make this close. But right now, Bangor really feels like the better team.
Yeah, it really does seem that way. I mean, it's already very difficult to try and keep that momentum going on the road. But, once the crowd is fully involved, it becomes a very tall order to ask. With Fullerton wide open for a mid-ranger, and it's going to be good there. And right now, it just seems like Vegas has kind of have their foot off the gas so far into this game. We do see that Brandon is back on the court as Fenton goes for three, but St. Martin is able to go ahead and get there, but it ends up going out of bounds, and it will be Tide's ball once again.
Well, that is unfortunate, but yes, Brandon on the court once again. Got to keep an eye on him and hope that, he avoids getting any kind of third foul here early, because the game will be pretty much over for him if he gets another foul called on him so early in the game.
Yeah, and right now Fullerton really doing well off the bench, already 7 points into the game with 3 for 6 of shooting. And right now we do see that, I believe that was Doyle with that quick shot as he gets his 6 points.
Yeah, 2 of 5, 2 big threes, and if he can hit a few more of those, LVG could maybe start to close the gap, but they have to shut them down on defense.
Well, that's a good start there as they do stop a possession over here, but Vegas will need to go ahead and get their offense back going, as well as Fenton looking to try and drive into the paint, but ends up losing the ball to King. And right now King hands it over to Van Zant. Ash. Lots of passing over there for the Tides as King gets it back once again. Trying to go for the Euro, but gets blocked there by Brandon. Now Oakley has it, and it's not going to be good.
My heart stops a little time every time I'm seeing Brandon go up for a block. And thankfully his impact is felt as 2 missed shot opportunities there thanks to him.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of Vegas, really trying to find some kind of momentum as they are down by 8. And right now we do see a long 3 try to get made, but it's not going to be good this time as Oakley gets the rebound. And now Naomi hands it over to Fullerton. Fullerton has been making quite a bit of noise coming off the bench. As Fullerton trying to get into the paint, but instead goes for a fadeaway, and it's not going to be good.
Yeah, Fullerton in earlier game this series put up double digits coming off the bench. And, Bangor's, I feel like Bangor's bench has just been more impactful between Category and Fullerton.
Yeah, for sure. And Baylor getting a nice open look in the paint with a great dish. We'll be able to cut this down to 6.
It's still 6 points is not. They need to get it by the half. I want to see this game have at least been in Vegas's favor once.
Yeah, that is certainly the case. Well, they got to lock it down on defense. And right now, Fullerton really trying to get over there, but draws the foul against Warren. And Warren doesn't seem very too happy with that call. The first one does go down, and we do see some major switch-ups on both sides. We're seeing some of the starting lineup come in for both teams. And Fullerton will be able to make the second one. So, Bangor back up to 8 now, the biggest lead of the game so far. We'll see if they want to try and break it to double digits, as they have done quite a lot here within this series, especially at home.
Yeah, game number 3 this is feeling more like game number 3 right now, where Bangor led the entire game, and Vegas never had an opportunity to even take the lead. Right there, back to double digits, like you were saying.
Yep, first double-digit lead of the game as they're up by 10, 31-21. So Vegas really needs to find a way to calm down this crowd, as they are screaming defense.
Alley-oop would be great right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But right now we need to have some kind of movements going as Brandon does make some room for Morrison to make that mid-ranger as that goes down. And as we can see, both sides not really doing very hot so far in the field goal percentage.
Well, compared to what we've seen from them, you're right. It's been a little unusual, but still. Oh, no. This time it's Ivy at least getting the foul, but another and one.
Another and one opportunity. That's not the greatest, but this is the first foul for Ivy. So when it comes to, watching out for fouls, she's the least of your worries so far, but that could change on a dime if they start attacking.
Yeah.
Speaking of attacking, Brandon hands it up to, Brandon hands it up to Murphy, and Murphy was able to go ahead and lay it up and in.
And I love that heads up, court awareness from Brandon to see Murphy driving the paint unopposed. And the defender was so engaged with Brandon that, as soon as he handed the ball to Murphy, the defender had no opportunity to have an impact on that shot.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of, too many defenders over there trying to for that shot to be able to go down. And now Morrison trying to get into the paint, but gets stripped there by Anari. And now another fast break opportunity for Ash, but it's not going to be good. Very good hustle there for Vegas to not make sure that lead doesn't get extended. But Murphy is able to get the and one opportunity after drawing the foul against AMR.
Yeah, and Murphy had just left the Montana Howlers right before they won their championship. And you have to imagine, he is hungry right now to push Vegas to a Game 7 so that he can take a ring after having just missed out on one in Montana.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it really kind of goes to show like the amount of energy that a lot of these players have and how they want to be able to play at least one more game to win it all on Vegas. But AMR is trying to not have that be the case, but that one's not going to go down. So now Aridi looking to try and get into the paint herself. Instead, trying to get that thing down, but it's not going to be good. Too many defenders there in her face as Anari hands it over to Dupuy, and Dupuy goes for a mid-range, but it's not going to be good.
Vegas, a chance here to get it back within one basket with a three, but besides Doyle, we really haven't seen too many threes come out. I'd like to see Morrison be a little bit more aggressive from the arc.
Yeah, for sure, and it really depends on how open she is. She will go for three this time, and she does be able to give your wish as the Cards an 8-0 run within the past 2 minutes, and now we are cutting it down to 3. And Vegas starting to get some momentum going back on their side. As Evakovic almost loses the ball there. Does pick it back up, though. And right now, desperately trying to get into the paint. Gets by Brandon, but it's not going to be good.
Yeah, Brandon, a little too aggressive there. Got absolutely juked on the pump fake, but still able to at least get a paw up. And Vegas, attacking the paint, but dishing it back out. And like I said, Morrison was able to generate that space with her own movements. Robbins, can you get it back? No. That's a cluster of mistakes there.
Yeah, that would have been a great opportunity for Ivy to cut it down to 1 and really quiet down the crowd. But now, the Tides looking to try to get this back up to 2 possessions as AMR passes it over to Anari. A lot of passing for the Tides as Dupuy gonna have to go for a desperation 3, and it's not going to be good.
Yeah, I feel like AMR wanted to take an ISO, but nothing was there for him, and by the time a play got drawn up, it was too late.
Yeah, now Vegas kind of resetting a little bit as Murphy tries to get into the paint, but it's just getting surrounded by 2 defenders. Nothing happening there, and Anari going for the fast break points.
Finally ending that drought that has been plaguing Bangor. It's funny, Bangor will go on these scoring spurts, but this is really the first game we've seen them have scoring droughts. Yeah,
that is certainly the case. I mean, like I said, both teams are relatively tired after that overtime thriller, so there might be a little bit of that going on as Ivy's able to clean up the board. And we're back to a 3-point game between the Tides and the Wild Cards as we're under 4 minutes of the first half. Very low scoring game here as Diamond Coaches goes for a 3, and it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I think at least one team has broken 50 in every game, I believe, thus far in the first half. And right now, I mean, Bangor can still do it, but it's looking a little sketchy for them.
Yeah, that is certainly the case here. But right now, Vegas cannot be making turnovers like that if they want to prevent that from happening, as AMR is going to go ahead and take the easy lay-in. Thank you very much. And now, once again, they find themselves up by 8.
Yeah, and you saw 2 for 8 for AMR. He's definitely trying to get something going, but just having a struggle on, good screen. Had Robbins open for a second there, but too many defenders in Morrison's face to get a good passing lane.
Yeah, and that's pretty much one of the good things that, like, Bangor has done, as we get to see a quick miss there, but Baylor cleaning it up.
Well,
so
what I need to see is another scoring drought. The Bangor has to be stopped here, and they've exactly wildcards calling timeout. They know that they need to stop Bangor too.
Yeah, for sure. And right now it's been pretty much a rough spot. Like, the droughts have been there, but Vegas has not been able to utilize it as much as they want to. And now Bangor is starting to pick things up once again. They're going to have to find some kind of ways to try and contain them, and as well as trying to find other ways to get to the basket. Because one thing that has been a major concern as how well the Tides have been able to clog up a lot of the lanes and making it very, very difficult for them to get a shot off within 15 feet.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, how many times have we seen Vegas get rejected in the post, and they keep going back there because that's part of their game plan, but it's just not working for them right now. And they need to open it up from the perimeter. And we saw Morrison, again, hitting a 3. Keep going back to her. I think she can... Oh, Robbins! Never mind. You can do whatever you want. Don't hurt me.
Yeah, well, I mean, as long as Robbins continues to play very well, she had to quiet down a little bit, but that's one way to pick things back up in this game. And right now, Kataguri not able to get it down as both Brandon and Robbins were there to go ahead and get the stop.
Yeah, and that was... Kataguri is very fast, but that's where Robbins, she's able to kind of match her in speed. Brandon maybe not as quick off of the acceleration, but a big body that she has to get around. There we go, another 3 attempt. And, ooh, so close to falling, but not able to.
Yeah, and right now it just seems like that they're going to want to rely on the 3 points just a little bit here. But so far, you got to like that they're trying to take those shots. As AMR goes for a 3 of his own, and he drains it.
Absolutely wide open there. And, yeah, I mean, Vegas obviously wants to hit some 3s, but even if they start taking them and missing, at the very least, it's going to put the defense in that mindset of, hey, they are shooting 3s. We can't just collapse the defense into the post every time.
Yeah, that is true, as right now we're seeing a little bit of an ISO. As O'Hara passes over to Baylor. Not a lot of time left for him to do anything as he goes for a mid-range, but it's good.
Yeah, in the back within 7, I don't think my wish of them being able to take the lead is going to happen. But at the very least, they can get it back within 1 or 2 possessions, and that would be a good swing of momentum going into the second half for them.
Yeah, for sure, as O'Hara has the rock, trying to see if they can get the screen going, but instead hands over to Parks, and Parks goes for 3, and it is nothing but net.
Big basket there. Now the shot clock is only 0.7 seconds difference. Bangor more than likely going to get the final shot, but if they can get stuffed here, Vegas will go in at least with a 4-point deficit, which is far better than I was expecting based on how the first quarter and even the beginning of the second quarter had started.
Yeah, and right now the mid-range is going to go down this time, so they will have a chance to get a shot off depending on how fast they go down this lane. We'll go for a half-court heave, and it's going to be nothing.
I'm sorry.
So,
O'Hara does not have the arm strength. They should have given that to, Brandon at the very least.
At least it'll be in the air. But at the end of the first half, Bangor is up by 6, 48-42. And you really got to give credit where credit is due with how well the defense had gone for the Tides.
Yeah, the defense is there, and Bangor showed a little weakness for a second there. You know, it was looking like maybe for a second Vegas was gonna tie everything back up, but Bangor's defense held strong. And just looking at the stats, I mean, AMR, I think, leading the way for Bangor, but it's not been a clean showing for him. 4 of 10. Most of it is coming from the free throw line, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and really, you got to kind of get credit for Vegas of trying to contain a lot of these players. As there aren't really any, none of the ties has really having one of the best of nights so far into this. Like it's been a very scrappy defensive game, which does play into how the Tides would like to play, as that has been their big emphasis all year. And we do look on the other side as Brandon is looking to be the one that is in the lead for the starters.
Yeah, 4 of 4, but obviously being missing so much in that first quarter, you have to think about if he had not drawn that foul early, where would the team be? If he
Mm-hmm.
had been able to be on the floor the entire time that quarter. So, but he can't be thinking about that right now. We have 24 minutes left to go. The game is close. It's still 6 points, and we've seen Vegas step up on D at moments. The question is, can they step up
Oh,
consistently? Is Murphy gonna foul? Thankfully, not Brandon, because that would have been a big. I mean, he went the whole second quarter without a foul, but he
yeah.
needs to avoid any more as well for at least this quarter.
Yep. AMR making both of them as they do hit the 50 mark. So they are up by 8. We'll see how Vegas responds out of those 2 free throws. As Ivy hands it over to Morrison, and Morrison does draw the foul and gets an and one opportunity, and that'll be AMR's third personal.
Yeah, considering how many times he's managed to make it to the line, he's now starting to find himself in the same foul trouble that he's been encouraging on the other end. But that is rough for Bangor if AMR were to go down or have to be pulled because of foul trouble.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of spacing being taken away if he ends up fouling out for this game. But there's still plenty of time left. And, the ball almost got tipped there, but AMR was able to collect it. We'll get the screen, and it'll rattle home. And
he is stepping up here tonight for Bangor. I mean, obviously from the free throw line, being so consistent is a big weight off of their shoulders, because they know they can get points if they can just get him to the line.
yeah, for sure. Speaking of, Murphy going for 3, and it's clean.
Ooh, that big time.
And right now, these threes are really coming into dividends. They're finally being able to utilize it here, as they are still in it, only down by 4.
Well, and we're going to see the post open because of those threes. And, Brandon, you got to be careful. That's a foul. At least it won't be a trip to the line. It will still be an inbound.
Yep, it will be an inbound. It'll still be on the Tides, but now Brandon with his third personal of the game. So he's got to tread a little bit carefully to not get into that 4th foul so early. But you got to imagine that Tides looking at their chops, wanting to attack him. And that might be the case here. But instead, some good defense there for both Brandon and Morrison as that shot gets missed. And right now, Vegas actually leading in the rebounding within the game, almost close to the 30 mark. And that's kind of been a difference maker here, as the Tides have been the main ones getting a lot of the boards, as Vegas now only down by 2.
Yeah, closest it's been in a long while. Can they continue, though? Can they stop them here and have a chance to take the lead? That'd be a big turnabout if they can.
And they might have an opportunity there with an offensive 3-second violation on the Tides. And now we're starting to see a little bit of a change here, as Bangor is starting to have a lot of sloppy play in the beginning of the second half, excuse me.
Yeah, the sloppiness is coming at the worst possible time. And there we go, the first lead for Vegas. And there we go, first lead tonight.
Yep, this is the first lead for the Cards, and now a lot of the noise that we've heard earlier in this game is now dead silent. But let's see if Oakley tries to pick it back up, and that is going to be the case as Baylor gets his 4th foul, and Oakley will go on the line for 2. You can imagine that Brandon might be sitting out for a little bit more.
And, well, this is the gamble. Game 7, what do you do? Do you take the risk and try and save him for later in the game and hope? And they're subbing out Robbins instead. They're going to leave Brandon in the game. And, ooh, if he draws a 5th foul before this quarter ends, I fully expect him to be sat.
Yeah, this is a very interesting decision here for the Vegas coach, especially considering the fact that you're really putting a lot of trust in Brandon, as Oakley is not going to make the second one. But yeah, you're going to have a lot of faith in Brandon to be able to hold his own with that much fouls. And speaking of, AMR will get his 4th personal of the game as well.
So it's a battle of who's going to foul out first, Brandon or AMR. Yeah,
we'll see if the Tides want to kind of risk keeping AMR in the game, as we do see Murphy going to go for his first free throw. And yeah, that's going to be very interesting. And I think right now the Tides will probably be a little bit more worried about it, since AMR is leading the team with close to 20 points already in this game.
Yeah, and he's getting it done from the free throw line too. So he is putting the wild cards in foul trouble, but he's also creating his own foul trouble situation that needs to be dealt with. And timeout, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I think coach wants to have a word with AMR and the team as a whole to try and figure out what they're going to do.
Yeah, because right now they do not want to be in a situation where AMR is basically like walking on a tight rope for the rest of this game and having to be very careful in defending certain players. Because if he ends up being more relaxed along the perimeter, that could open a lot more of the 3-point game for Vegas.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen the 3-point game finally starting to come in for the wild cards, as you know, Murphy, Doyle, and Morrison all hitting them. And if they can continue to hit those, it's going to put a lot of pressure on Bangor, especially because AMR, Ash are the 2 main 3-point shooters on the team.
Yeah, certainly. And right now we do see King having to go for a tough 3, but it's good anyways as it rattles home.
Okay, I'll include you on that list, King. I'm sorry for leaving you off.
Yeah, I mean, King will have to start stepping up beyond the perimeter if AMR goes down, so it's good to see her be able to get that one down. As Vegas looking to try to take the lead right back, as Brandon does get some space, but it's not going to go down this time. And right now, Brandon being very efficient in this game, but so far, Bangor doing a really good job trying to not prevent him from making a lot of shots here. As right now, Morrison, being able to shake off, I believe that was Oakley, the Bear stumbling down as Morrison's able to get some points in.
Yeah, and I mean, it is finally a game once again here. I mean, considering how rough that first half was, an AMR off the screen is golden, and he is getting hotter and hotter. But again, those fouls, I really worry for him and Brandon. Perhaps they could both get their 5th foul at the same time just to make it even for both teams.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see, as right now, Murphy trying to find a way to attack in the paint. AMR guarding pretty well, ends it over to Doyle. Warren having to go for a desperation shot, and it's not going to go anywhere as Ash gets the rebound. Right now, Ash looking to try and drive it in himself, but instead has to get it pulled back. Might get the screen here. He will, but not be able to get around his defender that easy. And right now, we get a pass over to Naomi. Naomi going for a mid-range, but it's no good. So now Morrison. Looking to try and get something going as we go for a 3, and it's going to be good And we're tying it up 60 apiece.
And that's great screen utilization. So much space generated thanks to that. But again, every time they throw a screen, the refs have been very paying attention very closely to the defender's feet. And like I said, you can't allow any kind of opportunity for the refs to blow the whistle and generate another foul. And, oh, Vegas again, a chance to get a fast break here.
Oh my
Alley-oop!
goodness! St. Martin flying high with that dunk. And now Vegas taking the lead with authority with that one. And right now, Bangor looking to try to answer back as King goes into the paint and runs right by Brandon as Brandon's trying to be careful not to commit his 5th foul.
Yeah, like I said, they are attacking the paint because they know they have an opportunity to, and I wouldn't be surprised here if they're going to sub Brandon out. I have a feeling they may have taken Robbins out early to give her an opportunity to rest so that they could bring her back in while Baylor gets protected a bit. Then again, the coach may say, screw it, Brandon, we're going to ride or die here with you and see if you can avoid the 5th foul. But, yep, they're keeping him in.
Yeah, it looks like that they are just wanting to try to utilize Brandon as much as possible just in case he does end up going down. But we get a nice block there. It will stay on Wildcard's end, but that's a good defense there from Farrington.
Yeah, that post attack is still difficult for them, and they're not finding necessarily any good lanes. The fast breaks have been helping get some points in the paint, but I feel like they got to keep attacking from the outside. Okay, that's who they really wanted to bring in. They wanted to sub all the rest of the bench out. Or sorry, most of the starters out and leave some of the bench players in. This shot clock, got to be careful.
Yeah, and that was not going to be good. So the Tides have a chance to take the lead once again. Burlington trying to dive into the paint, and he's able to lay it up with ease. So Fullerton right now, 9 points into this game. Hasn't been shooting well, but Brandon trying to get a drive of his own, but it's not going to go down this time.
Defense has been very stingy again in the post, and Vegas is not moving away from it. They keep attacking, and maybe Bangor will finally break, and they'll have an opportunity to get some more points in the paint, but it's just been a struggle for them.
Oakley being able to miss that shot after some pretty solid defense there from the much smaller Doyle. And right now, we do see a foul getting drawn there against Naomi. That'll be our first personal. As they get 2 free throws going to Vegas' end.
Yeah, and, I think AMR getting a chance to rest is going to be good for the fans' hearts to not potentially see him foul out here. Maybe we'll see him back in the 4th quarter.
Yep, and Vegas will get the first one, and it looks like that they are going to go ahead and sit out Doyle. We'll keep Baylor in the game. It's a very interesting choice here, especially considering the fact that Brandon is in a little bit of a tight rope.
Yeah, I will admit, though, with 5 minutes left to go, it's not the end of the world if he does get a foul here. He'll only be his 5th. And, yes, that'll make things a little awkward going into the 4th, but it could be a stickier situation because, again, Robbins has no foul. Only 1 foul, actually. I take that back. So it's not only Brandon's in foul trouble.
Oh.
And you see there, he's not even going to try and defend that because he knows he'll draw contact.
Yeah, Kataguri with an easy dunk there. Giving the lead back over to Bangor, and the fans are starting to get back into this again. As right now, Helen hands it over to Baldaki. Baldaki will be able to get the screen. Got a little bit of a lane. Dishes over to Fletcher. Fletcher gets the basket. Tied it back up. 6 apiece. And as we can see, the field goal percentage for Vegas has steadily increased as the game went on for each quarter, as Naomi answering right back.
Well, it may be going. I was saying it may be going up, but they're still. It's a tie. They're not even in the lead still. Yeah, they're not. And right now, Brandon looking to try and tie things back up once again, and he will do just that with the basket. And right now, Brandon with 10 points so far into this game. Right now, one of his better showings so far in the series. Yeah, and I mean, Bangor has just been matching the whole way, and you would expect, hey, we're shooting better. Why haven't we taken the lead? I mean, they've managed to finally close the gap at the minimum. So at least props to Vegas for that, but I need to see them go on a bit of a run here and put a stop to Bangor scoring as well. But I feel like both teams are matched stride for stride right now, and it's coming down to the wire.
Yeah, for sure. But right now, this has been the best showing for Vegas on the road here, but they will have to take that extra step to be able to try and steal a win here and get back to Vegas. But right now, we do see Kataguri. Lots of passing for the Tides as McRae has it now. And right now we're seeing a lot of movement. Not a lot of time left on the shot clock. I will see a tough mid-ranger gets put down, and it's good.
Yeah, I mean, again, if anything, Bangor is coming out even hotter in this third quarter than they have been the rest of the game, which is scary for the wild cards. They need to stop them before they get any more momentum. And great dish!
Yeah, amazing dish there to Brandon. Making sure to quiet things down a little bit as they're only down by 2 once again. But they need to get some important stops here as Fullerton gets blocked there by Brandon. And right now, the second chance opportunity for Kataguri will be able to clean things up. Yeah, right now, both sides really going tit for tat at this point. As Brandon hands over to Baldaki. Baldaki gets blocked there. And Kataguri ends up grabbing the ball, but his paw was on the line. So Vegas will end up keeping it on their end with a fresh 24.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for her that, battling for the board just happened to literally paw just on the line, get called for that. And, it's unfortunate, so it'll give them a fresh 24. Vegas an opportunity to clean up after that miss.
Yeah, it's a very important possession because it's not often you really see a fresh 24 after a possession. And Baylor able to clean things up after what seemed like a huge stuffing there from the Bangors defense. But now Baylor with 14 points so far into this game. Clearly his best showing since game number 2.
Yeah, and again, big body able to pull down the boards, and that might be why they kept him out there since Ivy is not on the floor. They need someone to be able to pull down those very crucial defensive rebounds and stop Bangor from second chance opportunities. But the fast break is going to be good.
Yeah, fast break, no whistle there on that possession either as a Vegas player does go down. But it was just a lot of clean play here as Aridi does end up drawing the foul on the other end as Fullerton gets a personal.
Yeah, I could see some substitutions coming in after this. Brandon probably going to get a chance to finally rest because, this game might come down to the wire as, like I said, it's been tit for tat for the last, pretty much the quarter as a whole, honestly.
Yeah, but now Ivy will also be able to start coming in and make her impact very well known. She got a lot of rest within this third quarter. So you gotta imagine that she's excited to go ahead and get back on the floor. But will be outmatched there for that possession as Bangor once again up by 4.
Yeah, and I mean, I think with how much rest they gave her, they were expecting her to be out there the rest of the game. That was the last rest she's getting, so you have to keep an eye on her and see if she starts showing up and taking. Kataguri! She absolutely swallows up that shot and pulls it down.
Yeah, absolutely, just showing up how well the defense has been for Kataguri. And now Bangor has a chance to expand this lead once again. And if a shot gets made here, that's going to spell some trouble here for Vegas. But it's not going to go down here as O'Hara does get the rebound. And we're going to end the third quarter with Bangor only up by 4, 78-74.
Yeah, I mean, the 4-point game at this point is nothing. We have seen these teams come back, and they are, both of them, shooting so well from the floor. I cannot call it here for either team. Bangor has the slightest of margins in terms of having the edge, so I want to lean towards them. They're at home, everything screams this should be a Vegas loss here, but it's not over just yet.
Yeah, right now Vegas is really giving it their all here in game number 6, and they want to be able to bring that trophy back over to Vegas and let that be the final decider. But right now they do need to make a little bit of a run here, as we do see Murphy going for a long 2, and it's good.
Yeah, I feel like both teams pretty much brought majority of their starters back in, except for, like I said, Brandon. He was out for a long time, going to have a chance to catch his breath. See if Vegas decides to try attacking AMR and get him in foul trouble once he's back on the floor.
Yeah, that is certainly the case. Right now, DePoy able to go ahead and lay it up and out there, a good dish. So right now, Bangor is trying to keep that smallest margin alive, as Vegas really trying to find a way to get that crack, as we get a ball gets stolen there from DePoy. Great defense there as Anari try to go up, and it's not going to be good there as O'Hara is able to get it up. But O'Hara really has to be careful. She's been stripped quite a couple of times within this game. And that's the one thing that's about the Tides, as Anari is able to stuff it.
Bangor defense is being an absolute nightmare once again.
Yeah, that is the truth here, as Anari is looking to possibly expand this lead, as DePoy gets a lane, throws it up, it's good. So now Bangor up by 6 with the first 2 minutes of this last quarter coming to a close. Vegas needs to find some kind of answers, as the crowd screaming for defense.
Well, of course, the crowd has no reason not to be hyped right now. Bangor is starting to pull away once again.
And that's going to quiet down really quick as we get a long 2 there. And once again, the Tides bench really just being the star of the show for majority of this series, as they have been outmatching Vegas's throughout the entirety of it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be curious to see when one team decides to call timeout so they can get the rest of their starters back in. And oh no, not a great play there.
No, not at all. As now Kataguri able to go ahead and pin it up to Ash, and Ash gets draws the foul and 1, and he'll go. And right now, Bangor has a chance to go up by, I believe, 9. Well, no, excuse me, my freaking brain. By 7. We'll see if that ends up being the case here, as Ash's free throw is good.
Well, not only that, but we see all the starters back on the floor now, and I'm not surprised from Vegas that they did not have that dead ball situation. I'm pretty sure they would have called timeout, because the game is once again slipping from their paws. They were so close. They had it. They were within striking distance, and now they're down by 7.
Yeah, right now, Morrison trying to clean it up, but Baylor slamming it back home. Baylor has done a very good job in the third quarter, but now he's back, starting to see if he can continue that momentum, as Vegas desperately trying to stay within distance to possibly try to take over. But of course, AMR is also back in the lineup, and he's having a good game as well.
Yeah,
he has to pull it back.
I said, yeah, he has, but shot clock, he's had to take a long 3, and it is just no good.
Yep, no good there, as Baylor is able to go ahead and pick things up. Murphy trying to get into the paint, but right now gets guarding very well. Gets the miss, but Ivy is able to go ahead and clean things up. And right now, Brandon and Ivy doing a fantastic job trying to stay into the paint, getting by their defenders, and going for those second chance opportunities.
Yeah, and again, Bangor needs to get shut down here. Vegas wants to close this gap again, and there's just so much offensive potential on the floor, as the screen there gets AMR open, but no good.
Yep, no good, and now Vegas has a chance to possibly tie it, or at least cut it down to 1. And Murphy looking to go for the ladder, but it's not going to be good. And right now, Ash going coast to coast, but it's not going to go down this time. Both teams really wanted to attack the paint, but it has not gone there in either of their favors the past couple of possessions, as Warren trying to do it himself, but gets blocked by Oakley. And right now, we're seeing a lot of movements happening as both sides are just struggling to try and get that ball in the hoop, in the paint. But Robbins finally ending that drought for both teams as Vegas finally cuts it down to 1. We still got a game, y'all.
Yeah, and
the Ties will finally go for timeout.
Yeah, they have to. And I mean, honestly, just looking at that, it was a lot of isolation plays just were not working out for either team. And,
yeah,
that you saw Ash try and take out the court twice, all on his own, and both times just missing. And use the shot clock, get a play going at least.
Yeah, I mean, even though the fact that that is very tight knit, we still got plenty of time. As we see a 3, not gonna go down this time. Bailey with the rebound, and now the Cards have a chance to take the lead outright. And right now, Morrison trying to get into the paint, but instead backs it up. Passes over to Robbins, who has a much smaller defender. Robbins. Instead, passes it over back to Morrison. Morrison gets some space. Hits the mid-range. No good, but Brandon able to clean things up and take the lead once again. Brandon is giving the Cards an 8-0 run for the past 3 minutes. And he is having himself the best game of his life.
Now the question is, Bangor, how do you answer back? And I think the answer is going to be Oakley. I think they want to attack Brandon, try and get that 5th foul drawn up against him here.
And right now, Brandon holding his own against Oakley, but Angel not able to get it down this time with a second chance opportunity. So Vegas has a chance to extend this lead. Doyle gets blocked. And it will stay on wild card's end, though.
Yeah, I was going to say the block, at least no one there to try and collect it. Ash, great awareness to get over there and actually put a paw on the ball, and the Raccoon sending the ball gingerly out of bounds. No one was injured that time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen too often the ball getting swatted into like the 5th row of the stands, but shot gets missed. And right now, Doyle not having a good game at all, as he has not been able to score at all in the second half. And Bangor will take the lead once again after a basket there from Anari.
Yeah, I was going to say Anari's also had a bit of a struggle. I mean, this is their first basket of this half, in fact. But, you know, after such a great show in the last couple of games, it's surprising to see her disappear a bit.
Yeah, and right now, Vegas looking to try to take the lead back once again. Get a screen there. Doyle with the mid-range. Not able to get it down again. So the Tides have a chance to extend this up to a 3-point game with the basket. And they will do just that. Great shot there for AMR as he has 22 points tonight.
Yeah, big game for him. And like I said, I've wanted him to step up, but he's trying to force some shots now in order to contribute. Ooh. Oh, but he knocks the defender over. No whistle. Wide open shot.
Yeah, very much needed against Ash, and right now, seeing him kind of pick up a little bit could make this a possibility for Vegas. And Brandon was able to stop the first one, but Oakley able to collect his own miss and clean things up.
And you hear the crowd, they're starting to get excited. 4 minutes left to go. Bangor, the 3-point lead. They need to cheer as loud as possible in order to get the Tides some energy, as the clock is gonna start to wear on them as Doyle hits that long 2, wide open though.
Yeah, very much needed, as Doyle finally the double digits in points. But of course, they're gonna have to get a stop here if they want a chance to probably take the lead, as Angel going toe-to-toe against Ivy. Instead, this is back over to AMR. AMR will get a bit of a screen. We'll go for the shot, but it's not going to be good. Ivy with the rebound. And right now we see a quick dish to Murphy, and Murphy able to get the teardrop.
Yeah, Morrison absolutely threading that pass all the way down the court. And you see there, perfect field goal percentage, equal between the two teams. It is as close as it can be here tonight in game number 6.
Yeah, and now everyone's trying to keep their hopes up as Angel does take the lead right back after a nice dish into the paint. And right now, both teams going toe for toe. That's something you really you expected here within this finals, as Vegas goes into the paint over to Ivy. Ivy laying it up. It's good.
Yeah, great hook shot there coming out from Ivy. 14 points for her. Not as productive as game number 5, but, you know, she's having impact. Her and Brandon combined are blocking down that post.
Yeah, and that's really kind of shows how well the two have played together all year. And right now, we're going to see a foul there against Brandon. That'll be his 5th. So now he's going to be towing the line for the rest of the game.
Yeah, but only 2.5 minutes left to go, so not that long. Now he just can't play afraid. He has to go out big and still attack. It is better to foul out and have been an impact on defense than to be too scared to foul and allow easy buckets. I would rather him get a full stop and draw contact later than be afraid and allow free points. They can't afford any extra baskets coming Bangor's way right now.
Yeah, for sure. And right now, Doyle having to go for a tough 3. It hits the side of the rim, but Robbins able to clean things up and will get the goal on the line for 2 as Oakley gets his first personal of the night. Don't have to worry about him being in foul trouble. Ivy will get the first one. These are some very important free throws for Ivy.
Very important. I mean, tie game potential here if she makes the second. And 2 minutes left to go. That is maybe 8 possessions left for both teams combined.
And the second one gets missed. So Vegas down by a single point. Tied. Time a chance to extend it up to 3 or maybe lead with 2 possessions. But right now, it looks like they're going to go for the ladder. But it's not going to go down. Baylor gets the rebound.
Yeah, Ash has been quiet really from beyond the arc tonight. And they were trying to get him going with the design play in the corner. And that could have been huge if they had made it.
Yeah, and Doyle almost loses the ball there. It ends up being a jump ball between Lindsey Morrison and Oakley. That is not a very fair advantage. We might as well just chalk this out to being the Tides, and that is going to be the case here. As again, another missed opportunity for Vegas to take the lead, and AMR is able to go ahead and take the lead back up to 3.
Vegas might need to call a timeout here.
Yeah, with just about a minute and 10 seconds left in the game clock. I do see the trophy right there as, again, another steal there for the Tides as Ash is able to go ahead and extend this once again up to 5.
Yeah, the
crowd has erupted.
That is unreal. 5-point game here with less than a minute left to go. Vegas, how do you answer? You have to get a 3 at some point.
Yeah, and Baylor not able to get that shot down. And if the Tides make this shot, that might be it. But they do end up missing that one. And right now, urgency is high here for the Cards. As right now, Robbins hands it up to Morrison. Morrison does go for 3, and it rattles home.
Still, 31 seconds. Bangor has a full possession. They can burn this clock down to 7 seconds, and if they hit a bucket here, it is over for Wild Cards.
Yeah, right now, Oakley going toe-to-toe for Brandon. Brandon is able to get the rebound after the miss, and the Cards will call a timeout to put an advance back on their end of the court. And with 18 seconds left, you got to imagine that they are going to have to see if they can try and go into the paint and try and draw a foul as they go up for 2.
I mean, if I was Vegas, what I would do is I would go for a 3 with maybe 4 seconds left on the clock. That way you have a chance to get a rebound should you miss. That would be how I would go for the win, but worst case, leave yourself a little time in order to go for the tie. Yes, you'll leave time on the clock if you make it, but that is, in my opinion, the best possible way to come out with a win. Don't go for the tie here. Overtime could go either way.
Yeah, it really certainly can. It looks like they are going to drain as much of the clock as possible to make sure that they have a shot. They will go for the 2. Ivy is able to get it home with 1.8 seconds left.
That's too much time. That is too much time. Bangor, that is plenty of time for an inbound and a shot.
Oh, man, my heart is racing right now as this is a lot coming into this one. Both teams really fighting tooth and nail.
You have to imagine it's going to AMR here.
100%. And right now, and we'll go to Ash. Ash goes for 3, and it's no good. This is our second overtime game in a row in this series.
Ash is pissed. He was open for that 3-2. Everyone was looking at AMR for that getting that shot, and they left Ash wide open. If Vegas wins here tonight, that shot might come back to haunt Ash.
Yeah, for sure. And right now, Vegas does end up winning the opening tip-off for overtime. And right now, another 5 minutes to play. Will the Tides be able to go ahead and seal the deal, or will Vegas finally escape? And that is a good answer there for Ivy, as the mid-range is good, as they now take the lead. The first shot being made for Vegas.
So I can already tell you Bangor's plan is going to be attack the paint, because you know what? 5 more minutes to foul out Brandon.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to be looking at Brandon to be the primary target as they drive into the paint, as the crowd screaming for defense, and the defense really making their presence known after tipping the ball out of bounds, letting them know that you're not going to get any easy looks in this case. But right now, we do get to see Naomi come in for the Tides, as Morrison hands it over to Brandon. Right now, passing between back and forth for them. Right now, Fletcher trying to go for an alley-oop pass, but it ended up not working out. Miscommunication, and now Ash does draw the foul and one, but it'll be against Fletcher.
Yeah, and interesting that they've sat Doyle down here. I mean, maybe he was a bit winded, or maybe they're a little concerned about his shooting not being all there. And actually, AMR coming back on the floor. Inari coming back on the floor as King was in. Now, I think King being able to add an extra 3-point advantage would have been nice to maybe cap out there, but up by 3 now. Vegas, what do? You need to get a lead here. You can't push it to overtime and then fall apart.
Well, they do able to clean things back up as Morrison does shake off a defender to get that that layup, and Morrison having a great game herself, 21 points. And right now, like I said, they're really banking on the fact that they can try and take this one, as Oakley hands it over to Ash. Ash does get the screen, has it against Brandon, but Brandon blocks it. Still great defense from the Polar Bear. As now Murphy ends up drawing the foul against Ash, and that will be a blocking foul, though there will be no free throws here.
Yeah, and
it will stay with Vegas.
Crowd not super happy about that, but you know he wasn't set. It's blocking. It's not a charge. Vegas a chance to tie it up, or take the lead here, and Morrison able to do so.
Yes, this is going to be this is a lot of hearts racing right now between both of these teams, trying to go toe for toe, and we get an illegal screen from Ash. The Tides are slowly struggling right now, as right now all the momentum is on the Cards.
Well, they definitely need a defensive stop here if Bangor wants to stay in it. If they can get a defensive stop here, they can shut down the momentum.
Brandon having the night of his life. Another easy lane to the basket for a dunk, but Oakley trying to answer right back. But Brandon has not having any of it. The rookie doing everything he can to make sure that Vegas escapes.
That's that Morrison absolutely leading the way, not only dishing the ball, but scoring herself. And a little bit of a dangerous pass there to Brandon, but she's calling for the screen.
Yeah, right now, Morrison trying to get into the paint. Having a rough time, going for a tough shot. It's not good. As Angel gets the rebound. And now AMR needing to get a good shot here to get all the momentum to go back their way. All they need is a single shot. And right now, Oakley going toe-to-toe with Ivy. Not going to go down this time. And now, here comes Murphy going for the mid-range. It's good. And right now, Vegas is slowly but surely pulling away, as right now it is looking to be the final countdown, as Oakley does end up fouling out Baylor. Brandon is now out for the rest of this game.
Yeah, and don't forget, Vegas was down by 5 with less than a minute to go, and they managed to come back. So Bangor is not dead in the water quite yet, especially if they can get a 3-ball starting to go. And now with Brandon out, they have a little bit of a window, but missed free throws is not what they can afford right now.
Yeah, especially right now, as the Tides are able to push Murphy out of bounds, and they get a little bit of a break after that missed free throw.
Yeah, a chance here to get it back within 2 or possibly even within 1 if they can get a 3 going. Again, keep an eye on AMR. I could see him getting an open look from beyond the arc, but no, they want to attack the fact that Brandon is gone now.
But it's not going down here, and that's going to be one thing here. Even though Brandon is gone, Ivy is also having to be a concern as Ivy dunks it down.
Yeah, and I think now we're getting to the point where 3s have to be the goal of the possession, whether or not it's from the free throw line or from the arc. And Oakley wants to play hero.
He wants to play hero, but it's not working out for him, as Ivy is able to collect the board after the second chance opportunity has been missed. And now Vegas could put the ice on it with this possession. They're going to make sure to drain as much of the clock as possible, as right now, Murphy trying to get into the paint. Instead, trying to dish it out to Morrison, but gets stolen. And now, AMR able to cut this down to 4. But right now, as you can see, a full court press is happening, and they will foul Lindsay. And a little bit of shoving there.
Well, and here's the thing. If Oakley had made that free throw, it would be a 3-point game, and they could afford to just try and stop them on defense. But they have to foul here. They cannot afford to. And they have to hope that Vegas misses at least 1, if not 2 of these shots. But no, it's going to be Morrison. Cool, calm, and collected.
Yep, and that might be the dagger right there, because they really need to make a quick 3, foul, pray that both shots get missed, and make another 3 in order for this for them to possibly take this. But right now, it is looking like Vegas at the last hour being able to find a way to win back-to-back games, as Ash going for a quick 3, and it's no good. That'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to foul here and just, try and do something, but it is over at this point. And I feel bad for the crew that keeps bringing the trophy out, because it looks like Bangor is going to win it the last 2 times, and Vegas has pulled it out at the last second in both instances and forced into overtime. And you know what? If game number 7 goes to overtime, I would like Vegas's chances, because they are now 2-0 in overtime.
Yeah, that is certainly the case, as Bangor not able to get that possession down. And we're going to end this off game number 6, 116 to 108, going over to the wild cards. And we will see a game number 7 for the final showdown between these two teams. What a game for Vegas.
Yeah, and going back to after the 3-1 start, I don't think many of us expected to be seeing a game number 7 on the books. I mean, I was willing to say, okay, yeah, I could see Vegas taking game number 5. But once going back to Bangor, I fully expected this series to wrap it up in 6. And now, Bangor, they have come so close twice now. Do they have the mental fortitude to do it again in game 7 and actually close the series out? Or is all the momentum finally on the wild card side?
It is 100% on the wild cards, and being able to not only win a very close one at home, but do it again on the road. And I gotta give credit. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but you gotta give some love over to Brandon and Robbins because oh my goodness, 41 points between the two of them respectively, and it's a huge night for Brandon as this is easily his best game of the series.
Well, you look at that, 5 blocks between the two of them, 9 offensive rebounds. Again, Brandon and Robbins absolutely dominant. Now, you can't discount Morrison either, putting up 27 points and 11 assists, a double-double for her as well. That's 3 double-doubles
Mm-hmm.
between the starting lineup. The bench really needed to step up, I felt like, but they ended up not needing them in order to win. But going into
Yes.
game 7, you're going to be asking, okay, we need some efficiency coming out from our bench. We can't keep having these close games. We need to have a little bit of comfort. As you see there, it was a grind the whole way back.
Oh, 100%. It was literally one of the most difficult games for the Wildcards to pull it off, but they finally do it here. And we will get one more game over into Vegas. And it is such an exciting time. And I'm sure that Vegas understands that they made it this far and they want to finish it. But now the Tides are really the ones that need to be answering a lot of questions because they cannot allow themselves to implode the way that they have these past two games.
Yeah, and again, it's not even like, Vegas has come out and absolutely dominated. Bangor has had the lead both games in the last minute, and they just have not been able to close it out. And you see there, Vegas had 15 turnovers, and Bangor just did not capitalize on them. Only 14
Mm-hmm.
points. They had double the turnovers, but they only scored one more point than Vegas did off the turnovers. And that right there is going to be a what happened, guys? Why were we failing to convert these extra possessions? How could we have walked away? Had even one more of those buckets fallen, it would have been a game 6 victory here for
Yeah,
Bangor.
yeah, and but that's going to be a one of the biggest talking points as they start traveling back over to Las Vegas, Nevada. As it's going to be a very exciting one. It could go either or. Ryan, and I'm very excited to see what happens here. But it's going to be a very interesting next 48 hours when we're back in these seas to see who's going to end up being the 2023-2024 champions for the FBA.
Okay, Marcus, before we close off tonight, I want you to tell me who is winning game number 7.
You can't do this to me. You can't do this to me. Okay. Um, you know, just to show some love for the Baylor family, I might be wearing the gold a little bit in the next couple of days. Okay, I'll have a little bias. I'll admit it. I'll have a little bias, but I'm just wanting for a good game nonetheless because this is gonna be a very exciting time for both of these sides to see who's gonna be the one raising that trophy up high and be able to raise a banner for next year.
Yeah, I want to say Bangor just to be contrarian, but Vegas, the fact that they've managed to do 2 overtimes in order to win and stay alive, you have to feel strong for the Vegas Wildcards to be heading back home in front of their home fans to finish it out in 7. And I want to see every single one of you who tuned in tonight tuning in on game number 7. We have had a wonderful time. I hope you had too, and we will see you next time.
See you later.